some insurers, so your big insurance company, don't want to cover AI's errors. What do you mean? When you read this, what do you mean we don't want to cover AI's errors? Who's making the error? AI's making the error? Yeah, AI we don't want to protect. All right, can you tell me a little bit more? Sure. As businesses hustle to incorporate AI in everything they do, their insurers want no part of it. Across the commercial insurance industry, new policies say they won't cover losses caused by chatbots. Investors are shunning AI leaders and other momentum names, but if you look beyond NVIDIA and the rest of the Magnificent Seven, there are actually plenty of winners. Healthcare has been a top performing sector. Investors seem to be embracing drug stocks, insurers, and medical equipment companies again. The shares have been beaten down as a result of worries about United Health earnings woes, as well as how the regulatory environment in Washington will affect drug prices and approvals for new medications. According to Dow Jones market data, Eli Lilly is the best performing stock in the index this month, up more 20%. The company, which topped the $1 trillion market cap threshold Friday, has been a big winner thanks to the GLP-1 drugs. But other top health stocks, such as 3M Healthcare spinoff and a few other ones, they are all up more than 10% this month as well. Not 20, but up 10%. So, Tom, can you unpack this to the average person? What do they mean they don't want to insure these AI errors?
So yeah, there's a couple things in here, and the article was meandering between healthcare and insurance. So most companies, if you own a company, we need insurance. We need slip and fall insurance and what's called general lines or general liability. Then we also get, if we do contracts and we do a lot of white collar work, it says E&O insurance. And E&O insurance is errors and omissions. Yep. And errors and omissions, like in our business, like we make an error, we omit something, and somebody sues us, we lose. That's what the insurance is about, because we made an error and crashed the company car into a tree, call the insurance company and say, hey, we made an error and omission, and we seem to have run the company into a tree. And they'll say, well, I'm your insurance company, and they go out and they pay for it. But what they're saying here is that AI is moving, and by the way, you can predict it. For underwriting, insurance people have got decades of information on common human errors that lead to problems where a company gets sued or gets fined, and they have to reach to the closet and say, I have an insurance policy to pay for this. And they flop that out on the table, and the insurance company pays for it. So there's all this history to underwrite human error. AI is moving really fast. Air Canada plugged in a chatbot for, I believe it is, it was Air Canada, plugged in a customer service chatbot, and they apparently didn't put sufficient guardrails around it, and the chatbot started self-learning or doing something, and it started offering discounts, or it started doing things that were not within the realm of the solutions that it could provide people.
Yep.
And it got in big trouble. And so now the insurance company is like, and by the way, AI works slow or fast, really fast. So humans don't make mistakes at this kind of scale. This is where AI can make mistakes at scale. So the number of claims, if you are, Chubb and you're trying to insure a company, mistakes made at scale are hard to quantify, so it's hard to set a premium. So insurers right now, do you remember when there was cybersecurity insurance? Day one, you couldn't get it because there was all the ransomware to turn it back on. And what happened was the insurers temporarily said, I'm not covering that. I will not cover ransom. And then as there was more to underwrite and more to figure out, you know how the insurance companies work. They come back and they say, no, wait a minute. We can put a cybersecurity policy together. It's a different premium, a different price, and we can underwrite this. What the insurers are saying right now is, I don't know if I can underwrite mistakes made at scale. So day one, until I have enough to underwrite here, the answer is no. And some of them are backing off. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, I wonder, because I think about it from two different places. It's kind of like, what deep fakes are doing. Honey, is that you with that girl? No, babe, that's a deep fake. No, it's not. That's a deep fake, babe. That's not me, right? Okay. Hey, Mr. Incorporated, your AI told me that I'm going to get a 72% discount on this next Toyota I purchase. I never said that. Yeah, but your AI said it. Yeah, but we didn't say it. Yeah, but doesn't your AI represent you? So in one sense, companies are going to be saying, well, we really didn't make the mistake. This is an AI mistake. The audience may be forgiving, but I think it's a slippery slope on both sides, right? Paul, what do you think about how I'm processing this? Because we're heading in this direction.
Yeah, I think the attorney has to basically prove one thing, and that is that the company that deployed the AI used an internal language model. If they did, it means that AI is building off of their own information. It's not a public AI, so.
Which is fair. That would be fair. I get that.
At that point, they're liable.
Makes sense. Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the biggest example or proof that AI is not quite there with things that are like the most high stakes. Like if you're talking about health insurance and having a chatbot tell somebody the wrong thing or misinform them, the insurance companies and underwriters remind me of kind of like the stock market, where like the stock market usually knows what's going on and it's like the smarter side of something. And like insurance seems like they're kind of the smartest people knowing the risk of something. So it's like, to me, it's them saying that the risk of trusting AI completely with something that's got life or financial implications like this, that it's not quite there yet. Because there's like who's the liability on? Where's the information coming from? Is there regulations around it? Like, is the law up to date with it, where they have like a framework around how they handle these things? So no, that's not in place. But yeah, you're right. We'll get there. But not there yet.
Yeah, I would just be, because if I'm sitting there arguing for both sides, what am I going to be saying for both sides as I'm arguing? If I'm the business owner, I'm going to say, listen, this wasn't us. Yeah, but that's the language model you guys use that's aligned with your protocols and your standard operating procedures. It is. So then it is the company. So I do think it's a slippery slope, but this leads me to the next thing. AI Super PAC launches $10 million campaign pushing uniform national policy. What does this mean? Okay, uniform national policy. A super PAC backed by AI industry on Monday launched a $10 million campaign to push Congress to craft a national AI policy that will override a patchwork of state laws, a group told CNBC. The campaign from Leading the Future will launch over the summer with more than $100 million in initial funding, signaling how the booming industry plans to leverage its wealth and power in the next year's midterm election. There's a broad public demand for congressional action and a uniform national approach to AI, said Nathan Lerner, executive board director of Build America AI, the PAC's advocacy arm. We are excited to have created this platform for Americans excited about the future of AI to engage their members of Congress and make a difference. The campaign will run TV and digital social media ads, plus organize 10,000 calls to lawmakers' offices this week alone. According to a memo about the campaign shared with CNBC, President Trump appeared to be convinced already. He wrote on Truth Social last Tuesday that the U.S. must have one federal standard instead of a patchwork of 50 state regulatory regimes. Tom, is this a good thing, a bad thing, and who does it protect?
Okay, there a couple points here. Point number one, the super PAC is brought by the industry. All right, so let's cross out consumer. The industry is worried about the industry. What are they worried about? This is exactly what the auto industry did when it didn't want 50 different states EPA. And when you went to buy a car, and I think it started like in the 80s, you noticed that there were California cars and there were 49 state cars. You used to be able to go on the window sticker. And that was because California had different emissions laws. Well, what the industry is saying is, you know what? This could get expensive. I don't want to pay lawyers in 50 states to deal with 50 different laws. I want one set of laws. So the industry is screaming for it. But what they're going to cleverly do with the PAC is say that the public needs it. The public needs one law so the federal government can control it. But what really it is the industry wants it so that they can push their lawyers to one set of bills and then modify those bills so that the laws are the laws they want. So it's two things. Expense for the company. I don't want 50 lawyers in 50 states. That's expensive for me. Number two, if all I have to do is worry about one bill in Congress, then I know that I've only got 100 senators I need to talk to, and I only need 51 of them, and I know where to write the checks for campaigns so they can control it. So whenever you hear there's a super PAC from the industry, you always step back and say, okay, wait a minute, what are they trying to do?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I don't see the consumer being helped in all this. I see the AI industry saying, wait, let's write the rules before we have 50 states of precedents, because what they don't want is a lawsuit in Louisiana, a lawsuit here where the consumer maybe was victimized of a deep fake and AI didn't have sufficient controls to identify it was a deep fake. You could have people wrongly accused of crimes and convicted. And so they don't want the states to be doing this. They want one set of federal laws, and the super PAC's job is to do it. But to make us all think it's for us, the consumer, to protect us.
Paul.
I would be looking for, this happened in the crypto industry, actually. When you saw the crypto lobby get on their heels with a lot of the anti-crypto regulation that was being forced in by the Biden administration, Coinbase basically started a program called Stand with Crypto. And they published every politician's position on all those policies. That was terrible for a lot of Democrats, which started to flip. We started to see a bipartisan approach. I would be watching the companies that have a lot to lose in the AI industry. And there are a handful of them that are out there that might pose a counter argument to this and try to go to exactly what Tom is saying, and that is put the consumer at the front, because that's how Coinbase did it with Stand with Crypto. They put the consumer investors, and you had millions and millions of investors, individual investors calling their congressmen at every state level, senators, House reps, etc. If that were to happen here, which is what I would be in fear of if I was running this super PAC, is someone organizing against it.
Brandon, where are you at with this?
I think it's bad news. I remember a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, it was like Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and a bunch of people saying that this is the equivalent, if not worse than, or like more serious than the nuclear arms race, like what's happening with AI. And could we, any of us think of one thing in the history of the world that's ever gotten better when the federal government has gotten involved and made a uniform policy around it? I can't think of a single thing. So I think it's going to, like whenever you're farther removed from like the people, like you said, if it's like state by state, it's gonna be precise. It's gonna be like matching what the people from that state want. But if it's federal, it's gonna be like this giant packet of laws that lobbyists write. That it's probably gonna create new barriers of entry and regulations. So it's gonna make it harder to compete in that industry. So, and then you have all the creepy stuff too with what could be done with AI, with like monitoring and tracking, and who the hell knows like what's getting written into the thing with that, with what the government's allowed to do in situations of national security. So, bad news. I don't like it.
You know what it reminds me of? Yesterday, again, this goes back to the conversation we had with the Fed, head of FDA. We talking about the patent laws. Remember one time you and I did something with the patent laws, the medical patent laws that we have. I don't know if you listened to the conversation. I asked them, I said, what are we doing? Because these insurance companies are coming with a patent on a product that they have, right? On a certain cure that they have, whatever. Takes them a few years to get it approved. Once they do, they have 7 to 12 years of monopoly to be able to price it out as much as they want. Then they can get lawyers to extend the patent for another 18 years, and it becomes 38 years. And you see, now it's like the product is really worth 28 cents, but they're selling it for $5,900. The day the patent's done, it drops to $9, and everybody sells it. We came up with some ideas. And who did that to give themselves immunity and protection for competition? The lobbyists and the healthcare industry and the, big pharma we can talk about. This is a way of them protecting themselves, AI, and doing a similar things to say, no, we're protected, and gradually knowing they're probably going to break a few things in a big way. And when they do, they kind of want immunity. Tom, am I reading that correctly on how they're using this?
Oh, yeah. The industry will have, take a look at what happened with vaccines. What did the vaccine makers do? Right?
They want to sue us for some 56 years or whatever it was.
If you want me to run fast, then you have to give me permission to make a mistake, is what they said.
Well, they did. They certainly made a lot of mistakes with that. 2026 is around the corner. And for some of you guys that have a dream, you have a vision, you have something that you get excited about, this is something I want to share with you that I was excited about For 3.5 years, I kept telling my kids, one day, I kept telling my wife, one day. And it all starts like this with a decision and a plan. I want you to watch this video. Go ahead, Rob. So I want to show you something. For 3.5 years, I would drive past this street and I would look at this property, 11 acres on the airport, one of the last properties of its kind. I said, one day I want to own this property. We eventually bought it. When we did, there was nothing here. I said, I want to build a soccer field here. Boom. We got a futsal soccer field. This hangar here, I said, you know what? For election night, why don't we do a live event? This turned into an event. The biggest live stream worldwide on YouTube on election night. 2,000 people were here. I said, let's take that hangar on the other side. Let's turn it into a gym. Basketball, jiu-jitsu, weights. Boom. Now it's a gym. Let's take that upstairs, which was a 2-bedroom for the pilots. Let's open it up and fit 51 employees there. Boom. We have that now. I got a bunch of other things to tell you about that we got going on here. But everything started with a plan. If you're watching this yourself saying, Pat, I got big plans as well. I host an event called the Business Planning Workshop. If you haven't yet registered, but you got big plans, click on a link below, get registered. I will see you there. And by the way, keep this in mind, guys. The next 72 hours, it's estimated that people are going to spend a ton of money on Black Friday on many different things. Spend is one thing. Invest is another one. If you got big plans for 2026, invest into yourself. Go register for this. I'll see you December 12th to go cover a 200-page manual so you can write a plan going into 2026.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.